It's a Saturday morning in 2026, and you're standing on a dealer lot, coffee in one hand, walking a row of brand new SUVs that all look about the same. Same ride height, same big screens, same plastic cladding, stickers running anywhere from 30 to 60 grand. Somewhere behind you, a salesman is already drifting over in a quarter zip, and here's the thing he is never going to tell you. Two of the vehicles in that row can be parked side by side. Same price, same size, same warranty booklet in the glove box, and one of them will still be starting on the first crank at 250,000 miles, while the other one will have you on a first-name basis with the service advisor before the temporary plates come off. Same money, completely different machines underneath. I'll be straight with you, I've had the valve covers off more of these engines than I can honestly count. I've read the owner surveys, the recall notices, the repair invoices, and the gap between the best and worst SUVs you can buy right now is wider than it's been in years. Not because anybody forgot how to build a good one, because a handful of companies decided that complexity sells and durability doesn't show up on a window sticker. So today, I'm going to walk you through 5 SUVs I would not take home in 2026 if you handed me the keys for free, and 7 that are genuinely worth your money. With the actual reasons, the engines, the transmissions, the repair records, the numbers. And one of the worst ones on this list wears a badge that most people still trust with their eyes closed. Stay for that one, because it's the part that should make you angry. Before we get into the list, let me show you what's really going on, because it's simpler than the brochures want it to be. Reliability is not luck and it's not magic. It's a series of decisions made years before the vehicle ever reaches the lot. A naturally aspirated 4-cylinder bolted to a conventional automatic is a known quantity. Boring, proven, cheap to fix. A tiny turbo motor working its guts out, wired into a transmission run entirely by software. Stuffed with modules that argue with each other, that's a bet. And the data backs this up. Surveys covering around 380,000 owners keep pointing at the same pattern. The simple, proven powertrains float to the top, and the complicated stuff sinks. And here's the part nobody puts on the window sticker. The warranty tells you what the manufacturer believes about its own machine. A company that hands you 10 years of coverage on a hybrid battery has done the math and knows it'll never pay out on most of them. A company that buries you in fine print at 60,000 miles has done the same math and reached a different conclusion. Keep that one idea in your pocket, the honest, simple machine against the complicated one sold to you as progress, because you're going to see it on every single entry today. Let's start with the ones to avoid. Worst number 1, and it's a 2-for-1 deal, the Chevrolet Equinox and the GMC Terrain. In gas form, these are the same vehicle wearing 2 different grills, and they share the same fundamental problem, the drivetrain. You get one engine choice, a small 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and that's it. No hybrid, no bigger option, nothing. And that little motor is noisy, it's underpowered, and for all its downsizing it isn't even particularly efficient because a small turbo engine hauling a 2-ton box spends its whole life under boost, working hard, running hot. That's the trap with these tiny turbos, and it's worth understanding because half the industry is playing the same game. On the government test cycle, run gently in a lab, a small engine sips fuel, and the brochure gets a nice number. In your driveway, merging onto a real highway with real passengers, that same engine is spinning its turbo hard just to keep up. Cylinder pressure's way up, oil temperature's way up, and the fuel economy advantage mostly evaporates while the wear doesn't. The old mechanics had a rule of thumb about this: an engine loafing at 40% of its capacity lasts, an engine living at 90% doesn't, and no amount of clever software changes that arithmetic. These two also sit in the bottom tier of the reliability rankings for their class, with engine, electrical, and transmission complaints and higher repair costs than the segment average. There's no single catastrophic flaw here. It's just a vehicle that's mediocre everywhere it counts and stressed where it shouldn't be. Disappointing is the polite word. For the same money, the lot across the street will sell you something that'll outlive it by a decade. Worst number 2, the Nissan Murano. Now this one stings a little, because the old Murano's V6 was a genuinely sweet engine. That's gone. The redesign swapped it for a turbocharged 4, and the old CVT, which owners hated for good reason, got replaced by a new 9-speed automatic. On paper, that all sounds like progress. Here's the problem. All of it is unproven, and the early returns aren't comforting. The redesigned Murano has already been through 2 recalls, one for the rear view camera and one for brake caliper failure, which is not a small thing. That's the part that stops the truck. Owners are also reporting laggy, glitchy electronic controls, the kind of stuff that turns a nice interior into a daily annoyance, touch controls that hesitate, screens that stutter, the vehicle thinking about your input instead of just doing it. And understand what a first-generation powertrain really means here. A new engine design and a new transmission don't reveal their true character in a 6-month press loan. They reveal it at 80,000 miles, in year 5, in the second owner's driveway, when the timing chain has stretched or hasn't, when the 9-speeds clutch packs have held or haven't. Nissan may well have gotten it right this time, but the only proof that counts is years of other people's miles, and those miles haven't been driven yet. And whether that new turbo engine holds up the way the old V6 did, nobody on this earth can tell you yet, because it hasn't been out long enough for anyone to know. You'd be paying full new car money to be part of the durability test. Let somebody else volunteer for that job. Worst number 3, the Mazda CX-70. And it hurts me to say it because I like what Mazda usually stands for. The CX-70 is basically the 3-row CX-90 with the 3rd row deleted, and it inherited the CX-90's growing pains along with the platform. The plug-in hybrid version is the roughest of the bunch. Owners report software bugs in the hybrid powertrain, malfunctions that drop the vehicle into limp mode, and a transmission that's jerky and rough at city speeds. The regular gas version doesn't escape either. It's been dinged for random electronic gremlins, phantom warning lights, driver profiles that won't load, the kind of ghosts-in-the-machine stuff that no torque wrench can fix. The predicted reliability comes in below the average new car. The cabin is gorgeous, I'll give them that. Real materials, real craftsmanship, the kind of interior that embarrasses vehicles costing 20 grand more. But a beautiful interior wrapped around software that hasn't been sorted is exactly the modern disease we talked about up top. Complexity shipped before it was finished, with the customers doing the final round of testing. And notice what kind of problems these are. Nothing here is a cracked block or a worn bearing. The honest mechanical failures a wrench can chase. It's code. It's a plug-in system where the gas engine, the electric motor, and the transmission are supposed to hand power back and forth in perfect agreement, and when the software referee gets confused, the whole vehicle sulks its way into limp mode on a highway on-ramp. You can't fix that in your garage. You can't even diagnose it. You wait for a flash update and hope. Mazda will probably iron this out in a couple of years. Buy it then, not now. Worst number 4, the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Big, handsome, roomy, priced right, and carrying a below-average reliability record driven mostly by electrical and electronic trouble. And then there's the recall that tells you everything about the state of modern assembly. Certain 2026 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport models left the factory with the wrong wheel bolts. Not a sensor calibration, not a software patch. Wheel bolts. The fixed notice literally advised owners not to drive the vehicle until it was repaired, because the wrong bolt can let a wheel come off, and anybody who's ever torqued a lug knows exactly how ugly that gets at highway speed. Now, recalls happen to everyone, and to VW's credit they caught it and fixed it free. That's the system working. But think about what it says that a mistake that basic made it through final assembly, because build discipline tends to be all of a piece. The plant that lets the wrong bolts through is rarely the plant obsessing over connector seating and harness routing. And sure enough, the electrical gremlins are where Atlas owners spend their patience, warning lights, infotainment tantrums, accessories with minds of their own. Stack that on top of the ownership costs, and the picture is a vehicle that looks like a bargain on the lot and doesn't stay one. The depreciation curve on these tells the same story. The market has already done this math, which is exactly why the lease deals look so friendly. The lot giveth, and year 6 taketh away. The old-timers had a phrase for this: cheap is expensive. Nothing on 4 wheels proves it faster than a discounted German-badged SUV out of warranty. And worst number 5, the one I told you about, the Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is a name people trust the way they trust an old dog, and I understand why. The styling is great, the cabin is comfortable, it rides nice. But here's the uncomfortable truth. In those big owner surveys, the Grand Cherokee posted the lowest reliability score in its class, and this is a design that's been on sale since 2022, so you can't even blame first-year teething. Owners report problems with the steering, the suspension, the drive system, plus a steady chorus of odd noises and fluid leaks, which any mechanic will tell you are the two early warnings a healthy vehicle doesn't give you. A clunk over expansion joints, a damp spot under the transfer case, those aren't quirks, they're the machine telling you what's coming. And these aren't cheap systems to chase. An air suspension fault or a driveline issue on one of these isn't a Saturday morning fix, it's a diagnostic bill before anyone even touches a part. The plug-in hybrid 4xe version is the worst offender, a genuinely complicated machine that's earned a reputation as a repair nightmare without even driving particularly well for the trouble. And all of this lands while the parent company is working through its own very public turmoil, which is exactly when you don't want to be betting on parts support and warranty goodwill 5 years down the road. The badge is iconic. The machine underneath right now doesn't earn it. That's the honest version, and honest is better than impressive. Alright, deep breath. Now the good news, because there's plenty of it, 7 SUVs in 2026 that are actually worth your money, starting with best number 1, the Mazda CX-5. Yes, the same company I just criticized, and that's exactly the point, because the CX-5 is everything the CX-70 isn't. Under the hood is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter 4 making 187 horsepower, bolted to a conventional 6-speed automatic with all-wheel drive standard, starting right around 30 grand. No turbo working overtime, no transmission run by guesswork, no hybrid software with a temper. It's the simplest, most proven combination in the class, and the reliability rankings put it at the very top tier for exactly that reason. The 2026 redesign freshened the body and dropped in a big new screen, but the engineers left the mechanical heart alone, and that restraint is the whole secret. Think about what's not on that spec sheet. No turbocharger spinning at 6-figure RPM inches from hot exhaust. No direct injection-only fueling coking up the intake valves. No transmission trying to guess your intentions across 9 ratios. The 6-speed auto in this thing is one of the most durable transmissions in any passenger vehicle, period, because Mazda has been quietly refining the same proven unit instead of chasing spec sheet bragging rights. Is 187 horsepower thrilling? No. Will it be making that same 187 horsepower without complaint in the year 2040? Every bit of evidence says yes. And when something eventually does wear out, your local independent shop can fix it with normal tools at normal prices, which is its own kind of luxury. This is what buying with your head looks like. Best number 2, the Subaru Forester. Same philosophy, different shape. The Forester runs a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter boxer, 180 horsepower, no turbo, and it currently holds the top spot in its segment's reliability rankings while wearing the badge of the brand rated most dependable overall. That flat 4 layout has its quirks, but it avoids the turbo complications that shadow half its competitors, and the symmetrical all-wheel drive is standard on every single trim, with 8.7 inches of ground clearance that's actually useful when the weather turns. The 2026 lineup starts at $31,445, and if you want efficiency, there's now a proper hybrid, 194 horsepower with an EPA-rated 581 miles of range on a tank. It's not fast, it's not glamorous, and the people who buy them keep them for 15 years and then buy another one, which tells you more than any review ever could. One honest note. So you're not surprised, the non-hybrid uses a continuously variable transmission, and while Subaru's is one of the better behaved ones out there, a CVT is the one piece of this package I'd baby. Change the fluid on schedule even though the dealer shrugs, and it'll go the distance. Do that one thing, and if your life includes snow, gravel, or a dog, this is the one. Best number 3, the Honda CR-V, and especially the hybrid. The repair data on this thing is quietly outstanding. A 4.5 out of 5 reliability rating, second best out of 26 compact SUVs, with an average annual repair cost of about $407, and more important, a low probability of the severe repairs. The ones that separate an annoying afternoon from a devastating invoice. Honda also did something sensible for 2026. They kept your options open, a turbocharged gas engine on the base trims and the excellent hybrid on the rest, so you choose instead of being chosen for. And here's the part I'd steer you on. If it's in the budget, take the hybrid, because it's actually the simpler machine in the ways that matter. The electric side does the low-speed work that grinds on a gas drivetrain. There's no conventional step transmission to wear, and the engine spends its life in its happy zone. The cabin is a masterclass in doing plain right, great fit and finish, controls where your hand expects them, a ride that's smoother than anything else in the class. There's no drama anywhere in this vehicle, and after 40 minutes talking about limp modes and wheel bolts, no drama should sound pretty good. Best number 4, the Toyota RAV4, with an honest asterisk, so listen to the whole thing. For 2026, the RAV4 was redesigned from the ground up, and Toyota made a bold call. Every single one is now a hybrid, no plain gas engine at all, starting around $33,350 and returning up to a Toyota estimated 44 miles per gallon combined. Here's why that's less risky than it sounds. Toyota's hybrid system is the most proven electrified powertrain on the planet. Millions of vehicles, every climate, decades of taxi and fleet duty, and it keeps demonstrating exceptional longevity backed by a 10-year battery warranty. The predicted reliability score of 86 out of 100 is excellent. Now the straight talk, that prediction leans on the outgoing generation because this specific redesign is in its first year, and first year anything carries unknowns, always has. So if you want maximum certainty, buy the CR-V or wait a year. But if the resale value, the fuel economy, and that hybrid track record matter to you, this is still one of the safest bets on the market. And there's a practical detail buried in the fine print that matters at year 12. Toyota's hybrid battery warranty runs 10 years, and when these packs do eventually age out, replacements for Toyotas are cheaper and easier to find than for anybody else, simply because there are so many of them out there. Best number 5, the Honda Pilot. For the family that needs 3 rows and 0 surprises. The formula could not be more old school. A 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6, 285 horsepower, a 10-speed automatic, room for 8, starting around $42,395. In a market where everyone else is downsizing to boosted 4 cylinders, Honda just kept building the proven V6, and the result is a big box that gets 27 on the highway and simply does not generate drama. Here's the mechanism behind why that matters. A naturally aspirated V6, moving a big vehicle, barely breaks a sweat. It's the loafing engine from our rule of thumb, big displacement doing easy work, and that's the recipe behind nearly every 300,000-mile story you've ever heard. It's not exciting, and Honda knows it. The Pilot is aimed at the rational buyer, the one who counts seats and repair bills instead of horsepower. There's a version of engineering courage in refusing to fix what isn't broken, and this is it. Best number 6, the Toyota Grand Highlander. And if the Pilot is the sensible choice, this is the sensible choice with a graduate degree. It's Toyota's 3-row done properly, and actually adult-sized 3rd row, up to 97.5 cubic feet of cargo space with the seats down and hybrid powertrains across the range, topping out with a hybrid max version making 362 horsepower while still returning family car fuel economy. Same proven Toyota hybrid hardware we just talked about, same track record, and on top of that, these things hold their value better than nearly anything in the class, which is money you get back that never shows up on the window sticker. And unlike most 3 rows, the hybrid here isn't an efficiency compromise you tolerate, 7 liters per 100 kilometers territory in a vehicle. This size is genuinely remarkable. That's small sedan fuel bills under a family bus. If you're hauling kids, camping gear, and a mother-in-law on the regular, this is about as smart as 50-something grand gets. And best number 7, the new Kia Telluride, with one honest housekeeping note, Kia skipped the 2026 model year, so the redesigned one on lots is technically a 2027, but it's on sale right now, so it belongs here. Starting at $39,190 with a 2.5-liter Turbo 4, making 274 horsepower and 311 pound-feet, towing up to 5,500 pounds, and a new hybrid option making 329 horsepower at around 34 miles per gallon in the city. The original Telluride earned its reputation the hard way by satisfying owners year after year in the surveys, and the value equation is still the same: near luxury interior, huge equipment list, A warranty that runs longer than most marriages for thousands less than the fancy badges. Just do your homework if you're shopping used instead. Some of the earliest first-generation examples developed patterns around engine sludging and transmission hesitation that Kia worked through in later years. So on a second-hand one, service records or walk away. Now here's the part that actually matters, because you might be wondering how 5 vehicles this flawed even make it to market wearing full price tags. There's no conspiracy, just a quiet commercial logic, and it goes like this. There's no money in a simple, naturally aspirated engine that runs for 20 years. There's a great deal of money in everything else. The dealer service department doesn't earn a dime off the Forester that never comes back. It earns off the turbo that needs a new one at 110,000 miles, and the sealed module that can't be repaired, only replaced at 4 figures a pop. The finance office earns off the extended warranty they'll press on you hardest for exactly the vehicles that need it most. Think about what that tells you. The manufacturer earns by shaving the tiny turbo engine's cost down in a meeting where somebody saved 4 cents a unit because the warranty only has to survive 60,000 miles. And what happens at 120,000 is your problem, not theirs. And complexity itself has become a sales tool. The bigger screen, the plug-in badge, the software-defined everything, sold to you as progress while quietly making the vehicle impossible for you or your local independent mechanic to fix. There's one more party in this, and it's the quietest one, the software itself. When a vehicle's transmission behavior, its throttle response, even its heater, run through code the manufacturer controls, the relationship changes. You don't fully own a machine you're not allowed to understand, and every year the hood latch matters a little less than the license agreement. Nobody sat in a room and decided to build junk. They sat in a room and decided that durability past the warranty period wasn't a line item worth paying for, and another room down the hall decided that a customer who can't fix his own vehicle is a customer who keeps coming back. The 7 good ones on this list come from companies that, at least for now, still think it is. That's the whole difference, and it's worth every penny. And I think it points at something bigger than SUVs. There used to be an unspoken deal between a machine and the person who bought it. You take care of it, and it takes care of you, and you could open the hood and understand your end of the bargain. Every sealed box, every subscription, every engine designed to just barely outlive its warranty chips away at that deal, and what it takes from you isn't just money, it's the standing to look after your own things. When you buy the honest machine instead, the boring engine, the proven transmission, you're not just dodging repair bills. You're voting for the version of engineering where the customer is somebody to serve for 20 years, not somebody to harvest for 6. The good stuff still exists. It just doesn't advertise as loudly. So here's what I want you to take away. If you're shopping in 2026, walk past the Equinox and the Terrain with their overworked little turbo. Let someone else beta test the redesigned Murano. Give the CX-70 2 years to sort its software. Treat any bargain-priced Atlas Cross Sport with suspicion. And no matter how good the Grand Cherokee looks under the lights, remember what the owner surveys say, especially about the 4X. On the buy side, the CX-5 and the Forester are the simple, proven picks around 30 grand. The CR-V hybrid is the low-risk all-rounder with the best repair record in the class. The RAV4 is the smart bet if you accept the first-year asterisk, and for 3 rows it's the Pilot for old-school simplicity, the Grand Highlander for hybrid efficiency and resale, or the new Telluride for sheer value per dollar. And before you sign anything on any vehicle, spend 20 minutes with the owner. Reported reliability data instead of the review headlines. Those 380,000 owners have no reason to lie to you, and the salesman has 40,000 reasons. One more rule that would have saved every buyer on the first half of this list: be suspicious of any powertrain in its first year on the market, whoever builds it, because the honest answer to how long will it last is always the same. Nobody knows yet, and you shouldn't be paying full price to help find out. Do that. And here's the moment I want for you. 5 or 6 years from now, some cold morning, your neighbor's shiny complicated crossover is on a flatbed and yours starts on the first crank like it always does, and you stand there with your coffee knowing it wasn't luck. You just understood the machine before you paid for it. Tell me in the comments below what you're driving right now, how many miles are on it, and the honest answer: would you buy the same one again? I especially want to hear from the folks with the high mileage stories, the 200,000-mile Foresters and CRVs, and just as much from anyone who got burned by something on the first half of this list, because those comments save other people real money, and I read every single one of them. They're the reason I keep making these. If this kind of straight talk is useful to you, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because next time we're getting into the engines that flat out refuse to die, the handful of motors that routinely sail past 400,000 miles, including one ordinary-looking four-cylinder that outlasts vehicles costing 3 times as much, and the single design decision that makes it possible.
May mga usaling naglalakihan na tumatakip sa kalakitan at kadalasan parang sa tao din. Sa bagong